the problems the Catholic Church is having. As you know, the grand jury in Pennsylvania worked on it for a couple years, and they come up with 1,000 cases involved in the church that occurred over 70 years. And most of the cases involved um, the priests and different people working there having sex and things like that with the boys, smaller boys in the church, and they had 1,000 cases. Now, after they've been putting pressure on the priests, because over the years the priests have been keeping this quiet and trying to avoid the situation if they could, and it has been quiet. But we found out several years ago they settled 2 cases for victims, and they paid $900,000. That's 2 out of 1,000. And the victims got the money, and they also signed one of these agreements that's going every day now where they won't talk about it, give any information or anything like that. But all these other people, the 998 people, they know now that they can pay and they can settle cases, because on those 2 cases they paid $900,000, and now we have 998 other people that got nothing. So the priests talk on television, say, well, those are old cases, forget about them. But I say that the legislature in Pennsylvania rework the statute and make this statute not 3 years or 2 years or whatever it is. Let the cases involving the church go longer, where the people can bring a case longer. Naturally, if you talk to somebody and you know the statutes run out, they're not going to give you nothing. But if they'll just make the statutes longer for these cases only involving the church, nobody else, these type cases, and they can word it how they want to do it. And in Pennsylvania, it's a different way to do it, but I don't know any other way to get these people compensation for the damage that they receive. Because a lot of people say, it just made them crazy. They were young, this and that, and the man kept coming, and it's hard to turn him down when he's in the church, and you figure that he represents you and God and everybody else, so, and there are a lot of people right now, girls too, that have problems, big problems, and they should have some right to get some compensation, even though it might have happened 10 or 20 years ago. This case for the 900 didn't happen yesterday. They settled that several years ago. But that was 2 different people in it, and that's all. Now, I think the thing to do, though, is the legislature has to work on a deal where they're going to extend the statute of limitations on cases only involving the Catholic Church and the things that we're talking about. It won't apply to nobody else. Car wrecks, things like that, all those cases are over. But listen to the priests over the weekend. They want to say, well, all these cases are over too. They're in the past. But how about all these people that are sitting there, and some of them, I guarantee, have mental problems and everything else. So that's the recommendation that I have right now. Go to the legislature. The grand jury's been out. A lot of people are mad, real mad, and let's extend the statute of limitations on these cases where people receive this kind of treatment in the Catholic Church. And usually it started when they were younger. Some goes down as low as 7. And I would say these boys, 10, 12, 13, 14, those are the ones that really have some problems. That's all I want to say on the Catholic Church today. The other thing I was going to talk about that was in the news over the weekend is this guy Chris Watts in Colorado. He's the one who had the 2 girls, and then he had the wife that was pregnant, and all of a sudden they're all dead. And this is an interesting case, and I researched Colorado statute, keep getting different things on it about whether they have the death penalty or not, but I'm satisfied now they do have the death penalty. But he's been charged. And one thing his lawyers wanted to do is they wanted to go to get DNA from the two girls who were in some kind of oil machine that was at a place where he used to work, and they're dead, but there's oil all in their bodies. And he said, well, we want to send our guy there to try to get DNA, and that could lead us to who killed the girls. And they wanted to get DNA from the wife too, who pregnant wife who was dead, and she was put somewhere, I can't remember, buried or something. But these two girls were sitting there in this machine, at this place where this Chris Watts used to work, and they had oil all over them. And he said, his lawyer said, we want to go there and take DNA. And they said, no, the doctor's going in first. He's going to do the medical report. And that's what he did. They wouldn't let them in. Let the doctor in. He went in, come out, write up his report, and then they typed up warrants and they arrested Mr. Watts. But I couldn't figure out why they wanted to get in there, but it would be a good reason if somebody else killed him. And the DNA, they'd be able to figure out the DNA, even though they had oil all over their body. And the woman had oil on her too, and they said they wanted to go underneath her fingernail for DNA and find out if there's another person that does these killings. I mean, this is bad, real bad. If the father did it, then in Colorado, I would say the only punishment for that would have to be the electric chair. I'm not saying he did it, though. It could have been somebody else that did it. And the other thing, too, where they put these girls, he used to work there, in this thing that has oil flying all over. Maybe they should have had warnings. There could be negligence there by the company that owned that he used to work for. And maybe somebody can collect for these two girls that died because it was not fenced off, it was not locked, there were no warnings, there was nothing. So for their deaths, there could be money coming out to somebody for their deaths. Naturally, the mother's dead, she was pregnant, that baby's dead, the two sisters are dead. So who would get that money to take care? I hate to see the father get it and use it to pay his lawyers, but I don't know how that would go, and you have to check the statute in Colorado. But if it's just strange, you can take somebody, throw him in an oil machine. He didn't work there anymore. I don't know if there are warnings or not. There should be. And then, bam, they're dead, and then they find them 4 days later. And if there are no warnings, no signs, no nothing, there could be a lot of money that company would have to pay out for these two girls that are dead. Now, who would get that money? I don't know. You have to check that statute in a couple statutes in Colorado, possibly. But that's all I have today. Thank you.